Fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand, by way of Lago, Nigeria, presenting Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya!
Stylebender's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, he looks real smooth.
I really enjoy watching him fight. He's like, in my opinion, when it comes to kickboxing, he's the epitome of technique, you know, of a technical fighter. And he's also super creative. I like watching him fight.
I like how he moves.
Yeah, very technical. He's very smart the way he fights. And he's also extremely capable. You know, he's got some extreme talents.
My name is Israel Adesanya, and I am fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand, by way of Nigeria. When I hit this mode called Godmode, where I just feel like this guy can't touch me. It's like I can unlock the cheat code in a game, and you just hit Godmode. It's like, yeah, I've got this guy by the bag, and I just toy with him.
Started with that clipping right hand, Adesanya, just too sharp really. Afoa, he dropped his right hand badly, boom, across the shin, across the neck, boom, right on the jaw, all over. Unfortunately, he was allowed to continue, and it was a clipping right hand off that, and just too much. Afoa, he was chilled, knocked out cold. Adesanya clinical in that finish.
The thing about a guy like you that's interesting to me is like, it's very obvious that you had very good technical training, but then you deviated and you figured out your own creative path. And something you said earlier, which I think is really important, and it's a good thing to hear for people who don't really understand martial arts, is what you do really is an art. I mean, you're expressing yourself. You know, there's something.
I've always been.
And for a person like me, who's a fan of that martial art, and I understand what you're doing, I watch it, and I'm appreciating it. It's like I'm watching ballet or a symphony. I'm watching art. I'm like, oh, look how he set up. There was one time where you trapped his wrist and cracked him with an elbow, and I just.
You know what that is? That's like almost like NLP. Because some people use things coming at them at a certain speed. So what I did, like, he had his guard up, and I was just like, just give me a hand. And I just hit him with it. So like he gave, you watch it, he kind of like just.
Well, he thought you were going at a slow speed.
Yeah,
and
like
he sped it up
NLP, because I'm used to, he's used to the fast stick coming at him, and I was like, just give me your hand. I got a few more. That's just the basic one I use, but I tried one on him. You might catch it. It was a change up from left kick to a front teep, but it just went right.
Here it is, right there.
It slipped.
Here we see the highlight.
Boom.
Ooh, that was pretty.
Israel Adesanya is a rising star in the UFC who's just coming off a big win a couple weekends ago against Brad Tavares. He was recently on the Joe Rogan Experience, and that episode has reached 1 million views already. While hardcore fans of MMA and kickboxing will already know his name, I predict that we're going to be seeing a lot more of him in the mainstream over the next few years. He's got a professional MMA record of 14 wins, 0 losses, and his kickboxing record is nearly as impressive at 57 wins and 5 losses. But he's only had 3 fights in the UFC so far. In 2 out of 3 of those fights, he got the Fight of the Night award for his impressive performances. In pretty much all of his fights, there comes a point when he hits what he calls God mode. But I want to highlight one which he spoke about briefly on the podcast with Rogan because I feel it captures so many of his best qualities within just a few seconds. Let's take a look.
You know, fun fact about that kick, we're drilling it. Eugene taught it to me, that setup probably 7 days before. And he said, if this lands, it's the finisher. He said that. Like,
wow.
All right, whatever. And then in the fight, something happened, and I didn't even think about it. Just boom, and it landed. And I hurt my foot on his head, actually. I actually hurt my foot, because that was the 3rd fight of the night. So it was a tournament, so the final fight. And I hurt my foot on his head, and I was like, okay. Because you kind of see me limp a little bit. Then I went in on him and just, finished it off.
That was a beautiful high kick, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful high kick is an understatement. This combo is a piece of art. The setup and preceding sequence of jabs and feints are tantamount to mind control, and Adesanya forced his opponent's head into his foot as much as he forced his foot into his opponent's head. Even the way he finished his opponent with precise and calculated shots, rather than a flurry of strikes, is beautiful to watch, and perfectly exemplifies Adesanya's highly technical fighting style. Let's break this down. Adesanya likes to fight with his hands down. He leans his head in to bait an attack from his opponent, which he relies on his reflexes to counter. He feints several times, then throws a few jabs to get his opponent to react. Clean evasion, expert use of the shoulder roll. His opponent is frustrated, desperate to land something. Adesanya's feints and slips have resulted in a cortisol dump for his opponent, inducing anxiety and fear. He reacts to everything Adesanya does. At this point, the fight's over. He throws a harmless right cross, which gets a reaction from his opponent, then touches the chin with a light left hook that's more of a push than a punch. His opponent moves his head to the left, away from the hook, and tries to counter. As his head moves left, Adesanya's right foot comes up to meet it. It makes perfect, devastating contact above the left eye. This entire fight barely lasted half a minute. It's just one example of Adesanya's incredible talent. Based on his showing in the UFC so far, I won't be surprised if he goes on to become one of the UFC's top megastars. The next Conor McGregor? Well, it's hard to say if any fighter will ever reach that level of fame again. But if they do, my money is on Israel, the last stylebender, Adesanya.